One of the biggest mistakes I see amateur golfers make is having a split set of irons in their bag, a combination of cavity backs and blades. In today's video, we're going to put to the test if you should have bladed short irons and cavity long irons, or if you should go full cavity. Chris, how are you?
Very good, yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. So
very wonderful.
I'm wonderful today. Chris, you've got some blades in the bag.
Yep.
I've got cavity backs in the bag. And guys, often people think, you know what, I'm going to have a cavity back 4, 5 and 6 iron, then 7 iron down, I'll go MB, because obviously I'm a ball striker and I want to show people I can use blades. This video is going to be a little bit of an argument between me and Chris, backwards and forwards, because we are going to play better ball off the tee using cavity back and blade than worse ball within 170 yards where you might potentially be using blades. So we're going to see how often we hit the green with the blade, how often we hit the green with the cavity back, and there's a big forfeit for the loser, Chris.
Oh, is there?
Yep. Right, so I'm going to go cavity back first with the 4 iron.
Let's cavity back first. It's up the right hand side of the fairway, launch.
That was a beautiful shot. First swing of the day, I really wouldn't want much more. So now I'm going to go blade, guys. It is better ball off the tee, so really all I can do is improve on that. I don't think this will be as easy to hit. Slightly thinner top line, slightly shorter blade length. In fairness, I've ripped that as well. This is going to be a very interesting video. So Chris, which iron are you going with first?
I'm going to go same as you, so I'm going to go CB first. Struck well, felt great, but it is up the right hand side.
Nice. Much lower ball flight, more penetrating.
Yeah, much lower. One up the right, one on the left side of the fairway, but again, the MB, I think, is the best.
So for today's video, guys, we are using the Takomo 301 MB and CB irons. Now, these have exactly the same lofts on them, which is quite a good idea if you are going split set, because you can get the right distances, you can kind of match them in nicely. Be very careful if you're going to go split set between blade and cavity if there's a big loft difference, because then you'll have a massive divide in your bag and that's no good for anyone. Now let's see who's hit the long irons best and who's going to play the worst ball into the green with the blade. Probably Chris. So guys, you'll see here I've hit two very similar, both in the fairway. I'm going to go with the first one being the best one, which was the cavity back. It's not a big difference, but you can see I've probably got 5 or 6 yards there on very similar strikes. So now is where we're going to look at the shorter irons. We're going to hit a little 8 iron in and see what the big difference is. This is where so many people would use blades, when really, do you still want that deficit if you don't strike it very well? I think you probably don't. 141 yards, I'm going to hit a little 8 iron. Flag's right at the back and the wind is off the left. Quite a difficult shot to attack the flag. What am I gaining from using this 8 iron first? Club head looks fairly small. The wind's moved that a little bit. I've struck that well, so it should be the number. Now if I use my CB, the cavity back, the one with the perimeter weighting with a little bit more forgiveness, can we do any better? Straight away that felt easier to hit. It's just the middle of the green, this one, and the distance is absolutely perfect. So the worst ball there for me was with the MB. I'm going to try and put the same swings on these. What a lovely time of year to be testing golf clubs. There you go, mate.
Thank you very much. You got your tap. There you do.
So that's a missed green for me with the MB. It was quite a good strike.
Yeah.
Certainly felt like I hit it well. It just moved a little bit too much in the air. The big thing is people used to say, yeah, I'm using blades for shot shaping, didn't they? That was what I always used to say to myself as a junior golfer. Then you realise how much do you really want to shape a shot? Would you rather have that element of forgiveness? That's what I think anyway. But
yeah, and again, depending on the level of play you're going to be, can you move it on demand every single time? The majority of people can't.
Not unless you're a natural ball striker, Chris, like yourself.
No, that's correct. Right, I'm going to try and flight this one down again, see if we can do that with both of them. I'm not going to try and shape it, but it's not a full shot, so it's more of a controlled motion. So MB there. Stay bullet straight, distance wise good, right hand side of the green.
Lovely strike.
Again, it was nicely flighted. Not a full shot. Right, in with the CB. Will this launch a little bit higher from the same motion?
Exactly the same, just higher.
Yeah, just higher. Same direction. Same direction, but much higher off the club face. So coming into the green, again, it's going to be more landing angle there. I feel like I can be a little bit more aggressive with an MB, but others might need the landing angle because they don't get the spin and the launch.
Now, the big thing for me here as well is golf clubs that used to be forgiving used to be very, very ugly.
Yeah,
so that used to kind of guide people into using blades, whereas now for me, if you can get a 301 CB that looks as good as this, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's true, but it's when you're changing, if you are going to do a combo set, you need to, like James said there, if you've got some big, thick, older irons, is it going to be too much of a difference from those down to a blade? Are you going to not have as much confidence over them? Although you want them and you feel like they could be better for you, they need to look good and not too different. Well, again, interestingly enough, they were the same distance, obviously pin high, but I did leave this one a little bit further right, so...
Is this your CB?
Pardon?
This your CB?
This is the CB, yes.
I find it interesting because I think it's the amount of offset that makes you, say you missed the CB right off the tee as well, so you're fighting that little bit of offset rather than letting it turn over.
And that's it, and it's testing those, not just going for a combo set because it's recommended. You want to try both and see what the shot would be. Oof, landed too soft. A bit of check.
Go! So that was my effort with the MB off the fairway, and this is my CB. So on the green, it would be a birdie chance, but not really gaining too much on the field with that.
Oh, it's a great roll, but a little bit pacey.
Right, that is one up to me, and interestingly there, me and Chris both missed the green with the clubs that we're not using. I missed with the blade, Chris missed with the cavity back. That does go to show that you need to use the correct clubs for you, but hopefully this video will give you more of an idea. So I'm going to try and play a little knockdown stinger with these 4-irons. This should be easier with the blade, but if I misstrike it slightly, I don't want to be 50 yards back. So even with the cavity there, I've not struck that very well. It's out there, probably around 190, 200 into the wind. Thank you. Can we play a miracle shot with the MB? I'm going to try and play a little low draw with this. Like that. There is nothing like a blade when you strike it properly, is there?
Going straight down the middle for that one. I'm going to start CB as well again.
Okay. Nice. Great strike.
Not bad at all. It's up the middle.
Nice, Chris. That's delightful. Chris, what is it about a blade for you that you seem to just strike them better? Because you never used to use blades in the past. You always used to be the sensible one.
Yeah, I used to have the Cobra Forge Tex, but being a natural ball striker, I've never really used them, but I just feel like I got a bit of confidence over them, hit them well to start with. And again, I like to launch the ball lower, and it seems to come out lower than the CBs, which again is what it's designed to do.
I think on this breezy day as well, I think we're both going to take the tee shot there with the MB.
Yeah, and I did think, obviously, when I first got them, I'd never be able to hit the 4-iron. It would even be too hard to hit. It wouldn't be beneficial. I thought I might have the CB.
I brought you the hybrid.
With the hybrid, but it has worked. So in the fairway, we did go off the forward tees there, so we've got 180 to the flag. It's a front flag here on the second, so I'm going to go 6-iron. First up is the blade, so again into a little bit of a breeze. I should be able to keep this down just like I did with the tee shot, even with the 6-iron.
Great strike.
Nice and low. And that's just got on the front edge of the green, so gone the distance I would expect, gone through the wind, it's kept it down, but now James has arrived and he's going to provide me with the CB.
The bag broke.
James's bag broke, he had a bit of a malfunction.
What do you want, the 6? That's the one you get away with, I think.
Yeah, not my best swing, but that has gone pretty much bang next to the MB, so slight misstrike, not a great swing, but I think when we get up there you'll see that they're both just on the edge
of glory.
And I did hit the MB good.
Right guys, so we've got my CB here just at the right hand side of the fairway. The best one's the MB, which is down there, slightly lower flight, slightly more boring flight, a bit like Chris you could say. So I'm going to go 6-irons as well. I've actually put a couple of yards on you there, Chris, with my MB. I'm going to go CB first. This is best shot, isn't it? So We're along, what are we, about 180?
180, front pin. James worryingly looked at those people to the right.
Did, didn't I?
That's a true amateur thing, they're in danger.
Oh, slipped.
Well,
Slipped, it's a good job that wasn't the MB. Miles better strike.
better strike, still a little bit right.
They're going to be quite similar, two different ball flights, but it's a good job that I didn't have the MB in my hand on the first shot. I slipped a little bit, the ball came very low off the face, and this wouldn't have had that forgiveness to even get it at head height where it was. Right guys, I've got my CB here, which is short of the bunker, and the MB, which was a slightly better shot, but made the bunker. I'm going to say this is the worst shot because, well, I've been playing out of bunker, so it's not really fair on Chris to go at that. Let's try and just loft this over. Be good. Sit.
Shot. Right, so the difference here, this is the CB that I did miss hit. The MB has just got on the front edge of the green, so there's a yard in it, so you got to think there, the misstruck one has still done okay. If I'd have misstruck the MB, just like James said, we might have lost 10 yards difference. It's a much harder shot from 10 yards back than it is from here. I'm going to use the pitching wedge from here. So again, it's a club that I have used a lot more chipping around the edge of the green. With it being a blade, it does feel nice off the face. It doesn't feel like it pops off compared to when I had the Cobra Forge Techs.
Oh,
again, feels very nice and solid. We can judge the distance a little bit better than if we have what James used to call a power bat.
turn, turn. Oh, good strike, just misread it.
I'll give you that one.
That's a great four.
Straight in the middle before James's favourite hole.
Isn't it always amazing how these videos come down to this, whether we're talking drivers, wedges, blades, cavity backs. Guys, we're going to play the next hole. It's a par 3 measuring about 150 yards, 8 iron, blade, cavity back, closest to the pin. No, furthest away from the pin loses. Because my argument is that we shouldn't be using blades if you really can't.
Is that how we're finishing off,
That's how we finish off.
So I'm going to be starting with the CB on this occasion. We're going to see this should launch higher. We've got around about 140 down breeze on the par 3. So we have gone pitching wedge. Again from here, proximity probably isn't too close, but we'd be expecting not to miss the green. And even if a miss strike with an MB potentially here, that could leave us short, which is then making a short par 3 much harder work than we want it to be. So
that is a beautiful strike.
Struck that well. Distance wise, again,
pretty good. Spun back.
Now for the.
I find this interesting
MB.
as well, because how often do you want to hit a hard pitching wedge from about 140? If you misstrike it ever so slightly with a blade, you're going to have egg on your face and come up short of the green. Over to you, Chris.
Oh, a bit of egg on your face. Right. But if you're a natural ball striker, go a bit.
That spun back as well.
Also spun back. But again, launched a lot lower, so a lot more direct, potentially in the breeze. That's going to be more beneficial for you.
CB to start, draw it in on the wind.
Okay, nice.
Sit.
Nice flight. Ooh.
The distance was good. Two identical shots. I think it's safe to say you've won that. That is two terrible shots from me, and even worse shots to finish with the MB. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Should you use a combo set? Personally, unless you're an elite ball striker with the short irons, I don't think so. Head over to Chris Dennis Golf. We're going to have a little rematch over on his channel. I don't know what he's got in store, but I'm sure it's going to be very fun.
Oh yes.